Morning everyone. In a last lecture we have seen what is active device, what is passive device, and the example of passive devices like resistor, capacitor, and today we will see the third passive device, inductor. So let's start with definition of an inductor. So basically inductor is a device that opposes any change in current. Okay, that change can be in a term of direction or magnitude. So remember one thing, students always get confused between inductor and resistor. Resistor opposes to flow of current, but inductor opposes to any change in current. Note this. Inductor do not opposes to the current, but it opposes to the change in current. Okay, it do not oppose to current, it opposes to changes in current, and that change can be direction wise change or a magnitude wise change. Okay, its value is called as a inductance. The value of capacitor is called as capacitance. The value of resistor is called as resistance. In such a way, value of inductor is called as inductance. Its unit is Henry, and it is also called as inductor is also called as a coil or choke or reactor. It is of course a passive device. That means it do not amplifies the signal, that is the current flowing through it. The inductor typically consists of an insulated wire wound into a coil around a core. Okay, so this is a iron core. Okay, this is the iron core, and a insulated copper wire is wound on this iron core. It has a n number of turns. N is any number. It has a n number of turns, and when a current has make a start to flow through this, then a inductor stores energy into it. Okay, inductor stores energy into it. This is a simple construction of an inductor. What we have done, we have taken one iron core, a copper wire is wound around it. Okay, this wire has a n number of turns, and a current I has allowed to flow through it. Okay, so this is the symbol of an inductor. The core can be iron core, the core can be ferrite core. Okay, when electric current flows through it, the inductor stores the energy in a magnetic field. It stores the energy in a magnetic field. When current flowing through an inductor changes, the time varying magnetic field induces an electromotive force in conductor. That means if I change the amplitude of the current, flowing through this copper wire, then when the current flowing through an inductor changes, the time varying magnetic field induces an electromotive force in the conductor. Inductor is characterized by inductance, which is the ratio of voltage to the rate of change of current. So this is the another definition of inductor. We can say it is the ratio. It is characterized by inductance, which is the ratio of voltage to rate of change of current. Okay, so this is the simple term. Simple definition of inductor, you can say. So once again I will repeat, don't get confused between the inductor and resistor application. A resistor opposes to flow of current, so basically resistor is used to control the current, and inductor is used to maintain the current constant. Okay, so inductor, that is choke, it is also called as a choke, can be used as a filter. Then let's see the classification of inductor. The inductor is mainly classified as fixed and variable type. There is only two main categories, fixed one and a variable one. So let's see first what is fixed inductor. So fixed inductor and variable inductor, as I said, these are the two basic categories. Let's see fixed inductor. An inductor whose coils are wound in such a manner that the turns remains fixed in position with respect to each other, and which basically has air gap as a core, iron core or a ferrite core. Once again, an inductor whose coils are wound in such a manner that the turns remain fixed in a position with respect to each other, and which basically has air gap as a core, iron core or ferrite core. Then variable inductor. In this, the inductance can easily varied by changing the position of ferrite core in threaded structure. That means the value of inductance can be changed in a variable inductor, but it is not possible in a case of fixed inductor. Let's see the classification. Inductor mainly categorized in two categories, fixed and variable. The fixed is again categorized in two categories, air core or core. Core can be iron core or a ferrite core, and a variable can be categorized as slug tuned tapped. So let's see some applications of inductors. In radio receivers and transmitters, it is used in tuned circuits, in TV receivers, in oscillators, or it can be used as a filter. Okay, this application of inductor as a filter we will see in a chapter of rectifier. So now we will see two different things, voltage and current sources. We are knowing that for any operation, for any circuit, the source is required. That source can be voltage source or current source. First we will see what is voltage source, then we will go for the current source. So voltage source. For application of electronic circuits, a source of power or energy is essential, and that source can be voltage source or current source. The sources can be classified in two categories, voltage source, current source. Voltage source again categorized in two categories, independent, dependent. In the same way, current source also categorized in two categories, independent and dependent current source. So here we will see independent current sources. We will go through independent current sources. So voltage source is a device or a circuit which can maintain a fixed voltage. So it is the device or a circuit which maintains a fixed voltage across the circuit. An ideal voltage source can maintain the fixed voltage independent of load resistance or output current. Ideal voltage source means it is not a practical one, it is an ideal one. So the definition of ideal voltage source is it can maintain the fixed voltage independent of load resistance or output current. So let's see what is that ideal voltage source. So this is the independent type ideal voltage source. Okay, so this is our voltage source. Let's mark it as a V. Okay, this is the ideal voltage source. So V is the voltage source applied. See here, the resistor is not connected over here. Resistor means known value resistor is not connected over here. This is an open circuit. Okay, there is a no resistor connected at the output side. That means the resistance is independent. That's why I have written here RL, that is a load resistor, is equals to infinite, because nothing we have connected. That means the air gap is there, and we are knowing that air has a huge resistance. That's why I have placed here RL is equals to infinite. So current I is equals to 0 because no connection is there. Okay, so it will considered as an open connection, and a no source resistor is also connected over here. Okay, so V is the applied voltage, I is the current flowing through this. Okay, so the terminal voltage here in a no load condition, that terminal voltage is equals to VL, and that VL is equals to simply V. So VL is equals to V volt. Okay, the source resistance of an ideal voltage source is 0. The terminal voltage remains constant equals to V with or without load. Okay, this is the with load condition. Now we will see a without this is with no load condition. Now we will see with load condition. So this is with load condition. Okay, the same diagram I have drawn it over here again, but I have shown here some known resistor. RL has some known value. Okay, so V is the voltage source. RL I have connected one resistor. So now this is in the previous diagram it was an open circuit. Now it has becomes a closed circuit. So I can measure a voltage across these 2 points VL, and that is equals to V. Okay, because of this closed circuit, current I starts flowing through the circuit. Okay, RL is the known resistor, V is the applied voltage, and I is the current flowing through this circuit. So across these points, across this RL, I can measure a voltage VL is equals to V volt. So for ideal voltage source, the terminal voltage is independent of a load. We have seen in a previous case also with no load condition. Also in a no load condition also VL is equals to V volts, and here also VL is equals to V volt. So let's see the graph. Okay, this is the graph of terminal voltage versus load current, and this is the no load condition. That means when RL is equals to infinite. So let's see what says the graph. So On x axis I have taken a load current, on y axis there is a terminal voltage. So VL is equals to constant. So terminal voltage remains constant because it is independent of your load. That's why it comes as a straight line. Okay. Without load current, is zero, but when load is connected, the load current will start flowing through it. But our output voltage is not depend on it. In this case, the output voltage is fixed, and VL that is VL is equals to V volts. Now we'll see what is a practical voltage source, that is we are using it practically. So the practical voltage source will have a finite internal series resistance. So the current is limited over here. So this is the finite series resistor. In previous case we haven't connected any series resistor, so you can call it as a source resistor or a series resistor. Okay, that is connected after a voltage source. So that is the difference between the ideal one and a practical one. In ideal voltage source, there is a no series resistor, and in a practical one we have connected a series resistor. So this is the diagram for practical voltage source without load, and this is for practical voltage source with load. Load is connected RL. Here RL is not connected, so RL is infinite over here. Okay, so this is the terminal voltage at no load condition, and here we will get terminal voltage with load condition. So what voltage we are getting over here? So we are getting here terminal voltage VO or V out is equals to V volt, that is applied voltage, and here we are getting output voltage VO or V out is less than V, over here, because the resistor RS is connected over here. So that's why here VO is less than V. In this case VO is equals to V. So how I can calculate the actual value of V in this case? Okay, actual value of voltage, output voltage in this case. So output voltage depends on the applied input voltage, the current flowing through the circuit, and the value of a resistor RS, that is the series resistor. Okay, so finally this output voltage is equals to, output voltage VO is equals to applied voltage V minus the voltage drop across the series resistance. And how I can calculate the voltage drop? So voltage drop V is equals to I into RS. RS is the resistor connected over here. So that's why VO is equals to V minus I into RS. If there is a no load, I is equals to 0. So there is a no voltage drop across the RS, and that's why I is equals to 0. That means the term I into RS is equals to 0. That's why VO is equals to V. And in this case with a load condition, VO is equals to V minus I into RS. That's why the VO is less than the applied voltage V, applied input voltage V. Okay, when the load is connected, finite load current starts flowing, which is inversely proportional to RS, because we are knowing that Ohm's law, V is equals to I into R. That's why I is equals to V upon R. That means the relation between I and R is inversely proportional. If we want to increase the value of I, RS should be low. If I increases, VO reduces. Okay, so let's see the graph in practical case. So again, this is the graph of terminal output voltage VO versus load current I. Okay, this is the no load condition, that means RL is equals to 0. Okay, on this side we are going we are taking the values when RL is decreases. Okay, so for an ideal voltage source, what kind of graph we are getting? We are getting a straight line, that means a constant voltage we are getting in that case, in a previous case. Okay, but now this is not the case. Now the terminal voltage decreases as we are going to increase the load current. That means we are going to decrease RL or going to increase current. Once again I will repeat, this is the ideal voltage source graph. In that case we have seen it is a straight line. Okay, in that case we have seen it is a straight line. That means the voltage is constant independent of load current. But now according to this formula, the output voltage is dependent on, when load current, finite load resistance is connected over here, the output current is depend on the output voltage is depend on the current. So as the value of current increases, the value of output voltage decreases. So the terminal voltage starts decreasing if we are going to increase the load current I. Okay, so this is the practical voltage source, and in a practical voltage source we are getting this kind of graph.